It is important, and if you look at some of the newspapers that you have today, we had a meeting last week where we were discussing how Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, as states, can invest in a joint refinery that will refine the oil resources that we have in this region. The oil resources we have in Uganda, a bit in Kenya, in South Sudan, and our region. And the industrialist from our West Africa, Mr. Dangote, was here with us, and he was sharing with us the opportunity that is available if we can combine and work together. And we have made the decision that we're going to do this together. We're going to harness the synergies of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and South Sudan possibly working together so that we can have one big refinery here. And that is the benefit of countries coming together. I welcome the comments by my good friend, the CEO of Nation Group, that they will profile our continent, our region, and for that matter, our country positively. When you read the headline on the East African, it says, Uganda's headache. There was no headache. For heaven's sake, there was no headache. I mean, how does three countries coming together to build one piece of infrastructure that supports the region, how does that amount to a headache? So I really want to persuade us, as you sit here, let us believe in ourselves. Let us believe in our continent. And I always urge people in Kenya, let us believe in our country. Let us profile it positively. Let us work together so that we can harness the full potential of who we are, the resources that we have, and the opportunities that are there for the benefit of everybody. And that would really help us make much more progress. In our region, we are thinking of how all the assets that we have, if it is the oil that we have, we must use it to industrialize our countries. We cannot continue to export or to be exporters of raw materials. And that is the conversation we were having with President Museveni and President Samia Suluhu, that the oil resources we have in this part of the East African region cannot be exported to be refined elsewhere. That is why we want to use our own resources to industrialize. We have a bigger opportunity in mining. We have huge mineral resources in the East and Central African region. We need to combine all these resources, use the huge resources we have of clean energy, geothermal, wind, solar, hydro, in our region, to mine these resources, to process these resources, and use these resources to industrialize our region. This is the focus, I hope, and I persuade you to focus as a region. This is how we are going to liberate ourselves as we look at the continent, as we stretch our imagination to 2050. A quarter of the world population will be living in Africa. That is strategic as a market. That is strategic as a workforce. And if you combine that with the resources that we have, the wealth of resources we have, natural resources, we must make a huge success of this continent. And that is why I am a great believer in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that assists us to have one single market of 1.5 billion people now and 2.5 billion people by 2050. That should be the strategic focus of policymakers like yourselves. As we look at that, we must look at where is the potential. And if we are organize our resources, organize our human capital, and connect our market, we will be the single biggest force going forward, because this is where opportunity will be found. We will not need to work so hard to persuade anybody to invest. They will come because they will see the opportunity is here with us. Platforms such as the Mining Investment Conference Expo 2026, where African governments and global investors come together to do real business, are precisely the engagements our continent need at a time like this. Kenya is ready to be a partner, not only with investors, but also with our other brother African countries who are navigating similar challenges and pursuing shared opportunities. This is an opportunity to learn from one another and to advance together. And as you work on this conference, I want to encourage all of us to look at what brings us together. We will be having, in 10 days' time or thereabout, we will be having the Africa Forward Summit, where we'll be sitting here in Nairobi with our friends from France and other places to see how we can chart a future for our continent. And it is very important that policymakers are aligned. That is how meetings like this are important for sharing ideas, harmonizing policies, and making sure that we are all moving together. The mineral wealth of Africa, including Kenya, is proven. The opportunity is very clear. The policy framework is in place. The institutional architecture is established. Market conditions are favorable. What remains is partnerships, investment, and the political will to act. And the time to act is now.